All right, hello. Here we go with your one card reading for each sign. And as usual for the new moon and full moon readings, I pick a focus for what the card is supposed to mean. So usually it's advice on how to hold your headspace, or advice on what do I focus on during this new moon period. And I think because the readings came up and the astrology is talking about liberating yourself from anything that's unhealed or oppressive or toxic to you, I think we're going to talk about the one card reading in terms of that. So for each sign, the card I pull will be what do you need to do to liberate yourself? What do you need to liberate yourself from? Ooh, I like the question. It's a deep question now. All right, so here we go. Aries, what do you need to liberate yourself from, or do to liberate yourself? The Magician. Okay. For me, this clearly means for an Aries, I would interpret it right away as take things into your own hands and do things on your own. If you're frustrated by others, if you're trying to work in teams or partners and you're finding that you're chronically frustrated, the Magician means that you have all the tools you need to do it, to initiate it, to start it on your own. This is a different Magician than, there's 3 in this deck. This one is a little more, to me, a feminine one, because she's got he or she. It looks a little more androgynous than the average Magician. There's many arms, and as you can see, they sort of twine. They look like they're very fluid, almost like an octopus. And in the background, we can see sort of the shadow figure of like a bear behind. So this means that you pull back and initiate something, but you keep it a mystery. So how would you liberate yourself if you're not doing well, if you're not feeling right, if something isn't going right? It would be pull back and go, you know what? I think I'm going to just start my own, and just don't tell anybody. Just do it. A little bit of mystery and a little bit of I'll do it myself, thanks. Taurus. Queen of Swords. How do you liberate yourself? Who do you need to liberate yourself from? Now, you might need to liberate yourself from this person. This would be a very highly intelligent but sort of cold emotionally person, usually older, usually with some sort of authority over you. If this is your boss, parent, roommate, wife, co-worker, supervisor, whatever, if the person is dominant or cruel or cutting, or overbearing, not very compassionate, this is who you need to liberate yourself from. If, on the other hand, that is not a person, but this is your advice, how do you liberate yourself? Then you would be the Queen of Swords. And whatever isn't working, you very cleanly and coldly cut. That's it. Thank you very much. Thanks for your time. No, we're good. I'm good. Thank you. No, I don't think I'm available to hang out. This isn't working out so well. No, I'm clear on that. Thank you very much. It's a clean, cool mentality. So that is either that person is around you to your detriment and you need to pull away, or if you need to pull away, then you need to be... Whenever you see the Queen of Swords, think of Meryl Streep in The Devil Wears Prada. Thank you. Bye. Like she just doesn't want to hear it. There's no getting into it. There's no arguing. There's no how did you feel about it. It's just thank you. Bye. I mean, it's cold. Yeah, But sometimes that's maybe what you need in order to exit a difficult situation. All right, Gemini. Oh boy. Gemini, how do you liberate yourself right now? Well, the Tower, you've been warned 1, 2, 3, 4. How many times do you need a warning before it's time to get out? That's this card. The Tower is already a warning. It already says liberation in the Tower, but it's liberation by things falling apart because we didn't act on things soon enough. So now shit happens, and now you're forced to liberate yourself. So this means whatever your situation is, if it's bad, then it looks like it would probably get a bit worse before you. It's going to force you to move on, quit, move, leave, sign the divorce, whatever it is. It's, you know, but the thing is, it liberates your life for the better once you do, because this is an old, toxic, ongoing situation that leads to this. If this is, you know, if you don't have any situation that's suddenly going to thrust you into changing, and you feel like but still, it still coincides. I mean, we're asking about how do you liberate yourself. This is the card of liberation, but it's by force. It's by destruction. So if you're not in this destructive, you know, or tornado feeling about it yet, then it's on its way. So please do something now. Admit to yourself the writing on the wall and let yourself get out of whatever's not working for you sooner than later. Cancers. All right, Cancers. 8 of discs. Very nice. Okay. So how do you liberate yourself right now? This card says prudence, the sun in Virgo. It would be all about slow and steady, self-care, routines, details, purification. Look at, you know, these plants and flowers. It even feels like healthy routines, clean house, clean food. You know, Virgo is like purify yourself, purify your environment, purify your diet. Try to relax, meditate, purify your thoughts. Your mind will follow if you do, because Virgo is still an earth card. So fine tune and clean and cleanse your diet, your body, your environment, and your mind will follow. But basically, how do you liberate yourself, in this case, from whatever might be? It's sort of like by having your routines, by having your healthy practices, it will automatically slowly, gradually weed out what doesn't need to be there. So for Cancers, I don't feel there's anything dire there. You can take a slower paced approach to how you get your life into a even better place. I like that. That's a good one. All right. It's freezing in here if you see me squirming with my shawl. Nobody's turned the heat on in this place yet. Okay. Leos. How do you liberate yourself? Infinity, yin yang, snake, change. How do you liberate yourself? This would be by accepting everything is good and bad. There's no good or bad. Everything changes. Everything goes in cycles. So this would be more like you liberate yourself by accepting change. So it's by your mindset, how you liberate yourself. If you're in a bad situation, you don't stay forever, but you know things don't last forever. You have to be aware, like, I have choices and I won't be here forever. I won't have to tolerate whatever I'm tolerating forever. It changes. People can change. I change. Situations change. The world's changing. There's good and bad in everybody, including me. So it's more like raising your mind set to a more sort of philosophical mindset. Because this really there's never any clear action of what to do in the change card. It's Jupiter in Capricorn. If there's any advice in that, it would be to just, that's an ambitious combination. So you might want to just sort of pull back, get a different perspective about things, and just continue to work really hard on what you care about. Such different advice. When you ask good questions, for future reference with readings, when you ask a general vague question, you get sort of a diluted typical answer, unless some lightning bolt of details comes through. The more vague the person's question, that tends to be what happens for most readers, the more interesting the question, or the more it can open the door to all kinds of things you didn't expect as answers. So I'm sort of happy that came up with this kind of question. All right, let's go now into Virgos. Virgo, your advice is the gain card, wealth or gain. And it's a Venus in Virgo card, and Venus is in Virgo right now. So how do you liberate yourself? This is the card of the devil's in the details when it comes to Venus in Virgo. Again, this feeling of wanting to purify, wanting to categorize, organize, put everything in place. But this is a card of money. So this would say, how do you liberate yourself? Well, do your budget. Make sure your taxes are done. Make sure you're keeping track of your spending, your receipts. Get your house in order on a financial level. Because somehow it might reveal things that you've missed. It might reveal ways that you can be more efficient. Venus in Virgo would like efficiency. And the other thing I'm feeling with this card is to really just stay grounded. Don't get too carried away by anyone or anything, even the news. Try not to get too much into the worry of the world. Try to pull back and just consolidate and organize and make sure that your own home, your own books are good. Yeah, it's a very grounded, very down-to-earth feeling for you. How do you liberate yourself from whatever might not be working? Well, I'm just getting this really strong feeling of just stay very down to earth. Don't let things or people, don't let anybody sweep you away into whatever kind of scenario or worry or projection or fear that they've got going on. Just don't give in to it. Stay very grounded with your own life. My hands are freezing now too. Okay. Here we go. Libra, what's your card? All right. This is the Queen of Discs. So how would she liberate herself from whatever ails her? She's got her little ram at the bottom, her little guard dog, her little henchman, her gatekeeper. This would mean for you, Libra, if you can find someone else to help be your gatekeeper, your middle person, your spokesperson, your mediator, then do it. Let somebody else help you. Let somebody else speak in a way that could help you, back you up, give you, whether it's a reference if you're leaving a job, a testimonial if you're having trouble with, I don't know, anything business-wise. If it's personal, then have a support system, have people help you. Otherwise, how would she liberate herself? Well, she's looking off into the other direction. She doesn't want to look at us. She's letting other people do it for her. So sort of feels to me like don't have your head in the sand, about whatever might not be working so well for you. And have other people in place to help protect you or speak for you if you're really having too hard a time dealing or looking at something yourself. The other thing, too, is in terms of how does she liberate? Look at the horns, how big they are and how spiraled they are. This is a lady, the more the higher the horns, the more they point to the heavens, the more it's suggested that there's a connection to the heavens, to spirit. And so she's sort of, even though she's holding her big ball of, the world is in her hands and she's surveying her lands and she's got her riches, she does have a connection to her higher wisdom, but she's not looking at us. So it's sort of like somebody that wants to be more like in their own head, does not want to confront things directly. So it depends on your situation. If it requires somebody standing up for somebody or putting their foot down, then you might need somebody else like the little ram there at the bottom to do it for you or help you. Otherwise, you would liberate yourself by focusing on higher ground and higher ideas and realms. And don't get into anything petty. Just refuse to get into anything petty, and that might protect you as well. Alrighty. Scorpios, what is your advice? Seven of Swords. How do you liberate yourself? Well, this card says futility. So it's basically recognizing, where are you trying too hard? Where are you not letting go? Where are you where are you telling yourself stories that, when really it's just, this is a card of moving. This is the card of, why am I here? It's pointless. This is usually a card of walking away. Usually you see somebody walking onto the beach, walking into the sunset, onto the sand. Sometimes it's presented like a thief in the Rider-Waite deck. It looks like somebody who's getting away with stealing some stuff. But more often what I see in this deck and others, it's a little less like, like a thief. It's more of a time when it's just, look, 6 swords are pointing at you, and your sword is sort of breaking into pieces. The card is completely cool. There's no emotion. It's time to walk away, to move out, move on, walk away. And that's the way you're going to liberate yourself. There's nothing left you can do. There's really no more. Whatever this situation is, that if this resonates with you and you've tried everything, there's nothing more you can do. Yeah, sort of a dramatic message, but sometimes that is all you can do. There's nothing more you can try. You can't fix people, and you can't change people, and you certainly can't single-handedly change organizations or huge things that are bigger than us, systems that are bigger than us. Not alone, not very often. Not all of us are Joan of Arc, right? So, all right, let's move on now to the Sagittarians. I love this. You liberate yourself by having some hope. You need to find hope again. You need to find your dreams again. You need to raise the bar. Look, she's raising the bar. She's not in this world. She's outside the planet Earth. Her head's turned up to the sky. She's opening sort of like a doorway or like a dimension with her cups. One below the earth that she's pouring out, and one that she's opening up and raising. And then the star is there. So you need to keep the faith and keep hope, and you need to have some sort of dream, and you need to also let yourself be recognized for what you're good at, because the star is not shining there, behind a black curtain. It's shining. We see it. We're supposed to see you. We're supposed to see it. So if you're not letting yourself shine, if you don't have a star, if you don't have a dream, that's how you liberate yourself from the difficult situation that you're in right now. That's why I love that message. And that actually will connect you more to your Sagittarian essence. Very nice. Capricorn, what is your method? 6 of Swords. So this means it's analysis time. It's detachment. It's like in our general reading, detach, analyze. analyze, detach and analyze. Detach and analyze. Mercury retrograde has already begun in the shadow phase, and it's affecting me. Okay, no, seriously. The way you liberate yourself, if anything is bothering you, is pull way back, see the big picture, which you're already good at. Put up a plan, do things, draw things, research things, get everything in order so that you can analyze the data of it. It's also a time of healing, the Six of Swords. Sometimes this card comes up for healing procedures, including like minor things that you need done at the doctor. It could even be sometimes small surgeries. If that applies to anybody, maybe it's time for that small surgery or for that little adjustment. But it can also just be a message to, how do I put this? Like because people don't think of like science and organizing and coolness as a healing thing. But if I think about it, I'm like, if I want to really heal my life and do a 180 or make big changes, I do have to step back and be quite emotionally detached so I can look at all the areas of myself and my life that I want and what my long-term goals are and what is going to come first or take this amount of time or what needs to be done in order for this to happen. And it takes a lot of work. You know, it's mental work to sort of strategize a new life, if that's what you're thinking of. And there's a healing in that because you have to, you know, it's not just like a desperate reactive, oh my God, I've got to find something new. I've got to do something else. I've got to go. No, it's like the battlefield, you know, pull back and look at the whole survey and think about, well, what are they most likely to do? What do I actually need? What would I like in the big picture, the long term? What do I need to do now? I mean, Capricorn, you're already like that a bit, but it's saying this is an Aquarius card, like pull back, like be even more, well, as I mentioned, progressive and inclusive is Aquarius. Capricorn is more, you know, my kingdom and my friends, and this is mine, and I'm going to make sure I have what's mine and protect what's mine. This is a broader vision. It's like, how do I do my lifestyle? How do I see my vision, including me and what I need and my family, what they need, but also including a community or including friends or including, you know, helping a certain sector. So we really want you to just, this is the way you're going to get out of whatever it is that's bothering you. Even bigger picture, more inclusive picture, and sort of take a step back and analyze. Woo! All right, Aquarius. How does Aquarius liberate themselves? Five of Wands. This says strife, Saturn in Leo. So you liberate yourself by some sort of endings. There might need to be an argument or a fight or a flare-up or a, you know, Saturn in Leo can be people's egos getting out of hand. There could need to be, doesn't have to be huge and end everything, but there could be. You might need to end something. Like I said, if you're in an oppressive or a toxic situation, you might need to break up with it. Otherwise, you might have just a big, nice argument, big rip-roaring fight about something that might clear the air. But it gives me this feeling like you're holding something in for too long, and it's sort of like when you swallow a poison. You have to barf it out to get better. You can't just pray that you'll digest the poison and it'll eventually be fine. Yeah, so that's sort of the energy of this card. Sorry to say, but you need to purge something or someone from your life in order to liberate yourself. And Poisson, Pisces. Oh, this is nice. How do you liberate yourself? This is the love card and says love on it. How do you liberate yourself? Well, you focus on your couple, your intimacy with your friends or family, whoever you're the most emotionally close to. Not everybody is in love like this card all the time, but if you are in a couple or a marriage, then you want to encourage the romance to come back, the intimacy to come back, the spark. Not so much that it's sexual, it's more like emotionally intertwined and feeling like this is a nurturing card too. It's Venus in Cancer. Do thoughtful things, do show your sensitive side, be vulnerable, show if your partners or people around you are vulnerable, then honor that. And it's really like honor the intimacies around you, and don't worry, like not don't worry, but like spend less time or walk away from things that people that are not giving you this. This is the ultimate message, is like love yourself, receive love, give love, and you will naturally sort of repel or not need whatever other situations that are less than love in your life. Wow, that was good. That was an interesting way to phrase things. So I hope that this reading and report helps you. And if you would like your own personal reading, I'm only working online now because of COVID. I'm just working on Zoom. And hopefully one day down the road, I'll see you guys in person again. But for now, it's working really well on the computer, I have to say. So if you need a reading to help with any aspect of your life or your healing or strategizing, then please give me a shout. river-rain.com, or my email is in the notes, is in the comments below. All right. Have a really great new moon period. We'll be back again for the full moon right on Halloween. All right. Take care.